So interesting you should say roadmap because among NATO members, there doesn't seem to be alignment. Hungary, Germany, and most surprisingly, of course, the United States, which has specifically, I wouldn't say objection, but showed reluctance in Ukraine, even discussing this, to quote National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan last September, there's his words as this should be discussed under different circumstances at a different time. I know your country is very adamant and keen on Ukraine to join NATO, but how do you react when you see some of the closest allies not sharing the same excitement for the motion?
Well, it's very simple. I mean, different countries, of course, have different opinions. The same also with European Union membership, also in Europe. So that means we have to discuss, explain how and why it's important. And as I mentioned, it doesn't happen overnight, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about it. So we should discuss how to reach this goal. It doesn't mean that we have to keep silent also in Vilnius. So, because we got the history, because in end of the 1930s, we were 20% of our budget went to defense, but we were alone, and we lost our sovereignty. So we don't want to happen this with Ukraine. That means it is important to have a member of an ally, and only ally is a defense ally which is now available is NATO. There is no other way actually.
But that would require all member states to approve. And my question is, what do you do when you have resistance from three major countries, Germany, US, and you are on the border? It affects you directly. It doesn't really affect America, for example, as much as it does your country. So what leverage do you have on other NATO members to feel the burn that you are feeling here?
So I guess it's not only us. It's not only Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and now Finland. It affects us all. It's not only even Europe, but it's also, there is a transatlantic dimension, for sure. So, as I said, you have to explain why it is important and go back to history, looking for a future, because there is no other alternative. What's the alternative? If somebody comes up with an alternative, we can discuss, but there is no alternative at the moment.
So you don't see any alternative for Ukraine eventually joining NATO?
Not at the moment, no.